and welcome to It's Your Business, a program designed to highlight our local small businesses. I'm your host, Veronica Douglas. Today, we're going to talk wings and waffles and catfish and grits with Mel Davis, Chief Financial Officer of TBK Holdings, Inc., which is the parent company of one of the city's most beloved restaurants, the Breakfast Club. This Midtown eatery has become more than just a place for breakfast. It's an integral part of Houston's daily life. It's where politicals go to powwow, CEOs congregate, and where families gather after church. This well-known tourist attraction has also been touted for producing the best breakfast in America by Good Morning America. Well, welcome, Mel.
Good morning. How are you?
And good morning to you, too.
I'm great.
Thanks for coming on today. I want to talk a little bit about the Breakfast Club and the history. How did it all begin?
So, actually, Marcus, my husband, Marcus Davis, he's the one that had the idea of the Breakfast Club. I just kind of jumped into the bandwagon. When I met him, he had the idea, he had the location, he had experience with working in small businesses before. So he worked for a company that had been around for years and kind of developed in that company. And then he did a lot of catering with his father because his father had his own catering business as well. So he had a lot of experience doing that. And once he found the location, he was ready and good to go. Of course, you know, it was the funding part of it that took a minute. Mm-hmm. And so when I met him, he had the idea and the building, but couldn't really open the doors to the restaurant. And so he was out there looking for funding. This was about 20 years ago. Mm-hmm. And so, of course, he went to the banks and they said what they say, no. And then he met with a couple of investors, spent a big chunk of money just to turn the lights on to cook some of the foods, and they said no. Wow. And then ended up finding a family friend that just retired recently, and he was like, I'll give it a try. We'll see what happens. And I think it was one of the best people to be an investor in the business because he actually was involved in the business since he was retired. So he was there, we all was there. Marcus' mom, myself, friends, making tables, painting the walls at Home Depot all the time. And even the family friend was there too. And when we finally opened the doors, it was just the front part of the restaurant that was open because we didn't want to do too much too fast. And we gave away a lot of food, which I didn't understand because the way I was brought up was my parents taught me, you go to college, you make good grades, you get a good job, and you just stay there. You put, you know, you stay there, you retire, 401k savings and everything. And so I had no idea what this whole entrepreneurial thing was about. And so giving away something, you know, that wasn't
unheard of.
Oh, yeah. But he was like, no, we have to give it away, give out samples. We were on the corner giving food away and everything for people to try, muffins, so they could just stop. And of course, word of mouth, it just kind of stretched across downtown and midtown, and then family and friends. We told them about it, and then they told people about it. And then luckily, the guy that was a family friend, he had a huge family, you know, so they would come by and stop by, and so that's pretty much how it started. Wow. And then it just grew from there.
Well, I know as I drove in this morning, I always look at the Breakfast Club and I noticed that line. It starts snaking really early in the morning. How many customers do you guys serve on a daily basis over there?
Well, it varies, and people that bring up the Breakfast Club, they say it's always a line. I can be in the grocery store and have on my TBK, that's what we call it for short, TBK shirt doing groceries. They're like, oh, you work there? You work at the Breakfast Club? I say, yeah, I work there. Have you been there? They're like, no, it's always a line. I'm like, no, it's not. It's not always a line, because if it was, I wouldn't even be here. But usually when people are off, holidays, weekends, that's when the line starts. Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday is really not too bad. And so it varies. It could be a range from 200 to up to 800. It depends, you know, 1,000. It depends what's going on, especially if something's big going on in the city, because we've had a couple of big things go on in the city. So when those things happen, of course, the city contact us, and we pretty much stay open 24 hours.
Wow.
When there's something big going on in the city.
You have a lot of great reviews about the Breakfast Club and the food, but they do say the line is very quick. It moves very quick. You go through the line, service is great, food is great, you're plated, seated, and you're out of there quickly.
It is, and sometimes people get kind of discouraged when their food beats them to the table. because they don't realize we have a greeter at the door. It really ranges. The most popular greeter that we have is Miss Mary. And people love Miss Mary. When she's off, people's like, where's Miss Mary? What happened? What's going on? I said, she's still here, working wise, but she has the day off here, here and there. And so the greeter's job is to inform the customers about the Breakfast Club and what they're in line for, or the signature dishes, which is the wings and waffles and the catfish and grits, or answer any questions. You get that all done while you're in line. Usually what is done at the tables. So, this is the time to review the menu, because once you get inside, you place your order,
ready to go.
You get a number, you sit down, we bring the food to you. So while you're sitting there paying, going through your wallet or sticking your card in, the kitchen already has the food order. So they're making it.
So you've got it down to a science. Get the order up front, know what you want, get in line, pay for your food, sit down, the food is placed in front of you.
Yes, and then the condiments, the silverware are all self-serve on the shelf. Or if you want one of the refillable drinks, the coffee is refillable, and the fountain drinks are refillable. You just help yourself.
Well, elaborate a little bit more on some of these Southern American favorites that you serve. What's a favorite of the customers as they come in?
It's really strange because it varies. The whole reason why we picked the wings and waffles and the catfish and grits as the signature items was because there's a lot of people that stay in Houston that are not from Houston, and they're used to eating those items. And I personally never had the wing and waffle when we opened. I was like, what is that? I don't know. I don't know what that's about. It sounds good. And then I had to really think about the catfish and grits because, again, that was something that was strange. And also the we don't really serve shrimp and grits and it's kind of spreading around very quickly. But when I thought about it, I said, hey, because I have family in Louisiana, and I would think on Fridays we'll have fish fries, and if we have anything left over, we'll have it for breakfast the next morning. So I was eating fish with breakfast. And I was like, well, that makes sense, and had no idea. But it started off with also some jazz artists that would, like in New York or Harlem, and they would have late sets and things, and then they want breakfast and dinner. And so that's kind of how the combinations with the wing and waffles kind of started. And then we cater to the people that are not from Houston, and also cater to the people that do stay in Houston that haven't tried those things before. And so the whole idea was to fill the void or fill that niche here in Houston. A place, because we're like the 4th largest city. So why didn't Houston have that place to say, hey, I got to go to this spot?
Right.
It didn't make any sense to us.
Right.
And so that was the whole idea of the Breakfast Club, to have that place in Houston where people could go, they can bring their friends. If people are visiting Houston, if they had family in town, they would come to our location. And then, of course, we know what people like. We like good food, and we like great service, and we want people to enjoy themselves.
And with Miss Mary, it sounds like you have excellent service over there.
Yes, we have been, people don't usually like to use the word blessed, but I think that we've really had a lot of great people to come through the Breakfast Club. And I think because we have an atmosphere of family. And a lot of the customers, they come there and they feel like that they're part of the family. Some people just come before an interview, or they come because they have things going on in their lives, or they come to study because we have a lot of universities around us. They may sit and study there before a test. And so it's kind of a weird group of people that come through there. And then, of course, people love to talk about themselves, so we listen.
And you have plenty of parking around?
We do. We have the park, which is very scarce downtown and in Midtown. And that's what we get a lot of MD Anderson people that's going through different cancer treatments. And we've seen them go through the treatments. We've seen them celebrate after the treatments, that are not from here and that are from here. And so we have the parking in the front and behind the restaurant, and we have offices and storage located across the street. In front and behind there, we have some street parking. And then the church, a little bit down Travis, lets us use some of their parking as well during the week and on weekends. So it works out.
And you also sell products.
We do,
and you brought
yes.
some of the products with you today. So
I did.
Tell us what you brought today.
So the products that I have, so maybe after 10 years of business, we went on to start packaging the products because people was talking about well, I want to make some at home, or what do you put in this fish, or what do you put in these wings? And so we started packaging our seasoning, and we also have this on the table at the restaurant so people can try it and taste it or add it to their food. But we do this is the wing and waffle one here, And the waffle batter can be used also as pancake batter, and you just add water. And then we have the chicken coating here. I'll hold up the chicken coating. It's kind of hiding here. The chicken coating that you can use on the wings. And if, we tell people, you can try to
it won't be the same.
Yeah. And I'm not a cooker in our family. I'm an eater, which I tease my husband about it all the time. But I love trying. And so it's fun to try. Some people that really know what they're doing can do it as well. And here's the catfish fry here. And this is the coffee that we sell. And we use Houston family-owned business for coffee since we've been open for 17 years. And then, of course, we sell the mugs as well, and T-shirts and hats. And so we really started packaging and selling it in the store and online a little bit after I was part of the Goldman Sachs 10,000 Small Business Program. And
so
talk
the products
about that.
was always something that you wanted to do. You guys always knew you wanted to go into that market. It was just waiting for the right time.
Correct. And if anyone knows about running their own business, they know about it's hard to stop working in the business and not on the business. So Goldman Sachs taught me about that. And also, they gave me an opportunity to kind of stop and work on the business, which was this expansion of the business.
And with that being said, working, more so on your business versus in your business, a lot of the things that a small business owner does now, you have the ability to outsource, correct? Like we were talking about your marketing, so you have somebody that manages that, and your catering, so you're not trying to do everything.
No, you can't stretch yourself thin, especially because it's 24/7 all the time. And we have multiple locations. But it's too hard not to do it right. And, things are not, you can't just do things just good enough, because it's not going to separate you from other people. And that's what you want to do, separate yourself from other people. So we do have a catering department that handles that. It's a couple of people that works in that department. And then, so we deliver and we have pickup caterings. And then we have the marketing department that handles all the marketing, which is huge. Social media, and it's interesting now in this day and time, because social media, it pretty much can make or break a business. I think that people, just an everyday average person, has too much power to be able to, say something negative, and then if you don't reply about something immediately, and then it just builds up, and then their followers, and then this and that, and it's just so much. And so you want to try to make sure you have a positive experience with everyone, and so they can share, their pictures and be excited about it and keep it fresh and popping.
And you're on Facebook and Instagram?
We're on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter.
And if they want to keep up to date with what's going on, the different outreaches that you have and the different events that you have going on, they should follow you on one of those, Facebook or
I say
Twitter?
Follow on all of them, but they try to hit everything across the board. Like this past Monday, we had something that just came from the weekend, and no one would have known about it if we wouldn't have had the social media. And we were shooting it out, and it was a pop-up shop. And we was like, oh, we have to get the word out, and let people know. But social media definitely took care of that very quickly.
Well, you guys are very busy, and you have several restaurants, and I want to talk about all of them.
Okay.
But let's take a quick break, and when we return, we'll pick up where we left off.
Okay, great.
We're going to take a quick break, and when we return, we'll finish our conversation with Mel from The Breakfast Club.
HCC. So many locations. So little tuition. Register today at hccs.edu/now.
I've seen people's lives change just by attending a class at HCC.
Some of them might not have the financial means to go to a four-year university. That doesn't make them any less quote-unquote smart than the kids who go to a four-year school.
HCC is easy to get to. It's easy to apply and easy to become a part of.
It gave me so much confidence.
Once you finish your 2 years there, you can transition into a four-year university or go into the workforce.
It's affordable, it's accessible, it changes lives.
HCC. So many ways to learn. So little tuition. Register today at hccs.edu/now.
Welcome back back and we're going to continue our conversation with Mel Davis with the Breakfast Club. And Mel, we left off talking about the Breakfast Club downtown and the activities that you have. What are some of the community outreach events that you guys put on monthly?
So of course we wouldn't still be at that corner on 3711 Travis without the community. They have supported us. And so what we do, every chance we get, we try to give back to the community. So every first Saturday, we have something called Kids First Saturday that's free to children. They can come out and do face painting and the moonwalk. And then we also offer it for anybody that have any kid-friendly like book, or if there's a group that's trying to raise funds, they can come out there and do that for free of charge. We give them a table and some chairs, and they can come and talk to all of the customers that we service. And so we offer that. The word kind of gets around slowly. We had some Girl Scouts out there recently.
I saw that.
We had a young women's basketball group that did well. And they did well during their time that they were playing. They were winning, and they didn't realize they was going to go to the championship.
Wow.
And so they was like, well, we need to raise funds for that. Can you guys be a sponsor? We was like, we can, but how about we do this? And so they brought their basketball goal out, and they challenged some of the customers, you know, just for tips. And it was crazy because I'm not going to say who, but just so happened that day there was a WNBA player there.
Wow.
It was so weird. And so she went out there and started challenging people as well. And so it was just very interesting. So we do that for the kids. And then every weekend we also have, if you have a small business, you can be one of the vendors that we have out there as well.
And what are the requirements around that? Is it any type of product or service that you're selling?
Well, we make sure, of course, that it's not something that we have. And then also they get a table and 2 chairs and a tent. And as long as it's not someone already out there that's doing it, because we don't want them to bump heads with what they're doing and get the full benefit for that. And I think the cost of that is $100.
And for someone interested, they just go to your website?
Or they can go to info at the Breakfast Club, clubwithak.com.
That's great. I actually kept up with you on social media, and I saw some of the things you're doing out there on Saturdays for the community. And it's really great that you're giving back. And it's also bringing back light to downtown, because it seems like sometimes on the weekend downtown is just desolate. But bringing the Breakfast Club out, and you bringing out people from the
back
community.
This way. Exactly.
Good place to stop after church.
And then there's a lot of I call them luxury living apartments in the area, and they leave from out of downtown, instead of just staying here and appreciating what's here. And so now we have the park here, and so they can kind of enjoy what we have already here.
Very nice. Well, the Breakfast Club, you have 2 locations, actually 3. One
yes.
of them is on Travis Street, as we're speaking of, and then you have 2 inside George Bush International Airport.
Yes.
Tell us a little bit about that. You recently received an award from USA Today as one of the top 10 best dining experiences in airports. Tell us about that nomination process, and ultimately you received the award. So tell us a little bit about that.
Okay, so to begin with, to get into the airport, we was asked by an investment group that contacted us because they wanted to put local restaurants in intercontinental airports. So it was us with a cluster of some other restaurants. And so it was like, okay, we'll try it, because we've seen in the past, people have always talked to us about franchising or duplicating what we have. They say put one on this side of town, put one in Austin, or put one in Dallas, in Waco, and so it was like, we've seen it be successful with small businesses, restaurants in particular, and then we've seen it not be so successful. And we're very hands-on in our business, and the brand is very important to us. And so we had to think very hard about saying yes to being in the airports, and we had a couple of stipulations, like, okay, if we are there, it has to taste the same, it has to look the same. It has to be the same service. It has to have the same feel, the vibe, as we have in the restaurant, as close as possible. And so we were there all the time. We have a director of operations that we hired to help out with that had experience with duplicating restaurants. And so she's very hands-on as well. And if things not right, we're like, we're gonna cut it. We can't afford to have it not right, especially like I said before with social media. And so we have to use the same vendors. You guys gonna have to follow the recipe to the T. And so it's funny, I was taking my daughter to the airport, and I was doing one of those undercover boss things there And so I was doing really well. I was doing really well until someone noticed me, and then it went downhill. But the employees there also train at the Travis location.
Oh, good.
So they can understand what it takes as far as the field, because you can tell people anything, but if they can actually see, if they can actually talk to the customers, they have more of an idea, you know, from the greeters to the cashiers to the kitchen staff.
And how many people do you employ in Houston?
Oh, out of just the breakfast
All
club?
your restaurants.
So we have the Breakfast Club that we've been talking about. We have the Caribbean restaurant called the Reggae Hut on Alameda, which was a restaurant that had been there for years, and it had opened and closed a couple of times. My husband would go there while he was attending TSU. We went on a couple of dates there. And Henry, we call him the singing chef, he came and asked my husband, hey, if you guys would manage the restaurant, we can open it back up and I'll do the food. And so we was able to do that. I call that our community restaurant. So with that one as well. And then culture we have now, which is the Urban Comfort Kitchen, which is kind of a Caribbean Southern food that focuses on art and on food and music there, because we do live music there as well. That's located by the George O'Brown. And then we have the Alley Cat Bar and Lounge. And so all together, including the airports, I want to say close to 300 maybe.
Wow.
In and out, I'm including part-time as well, because we have some students that are in college that come during the holidays.
Wow.
Maybe so, yeah.
Did you ever think when you first started the Breakfast Club that it was going to turn into a restaurant empire?
I had no idea. I had no idea what was going to happen because I didn't grow up in that lifestyle. But I started, as I saw it grow, I was like, oh, this is major. This is very serious. And, you know, once you're actually working in the business, you don't pay attention to that as much. You know, because people's like, oh, you work at the Breakfast Club? And I just say, yes. I do work there.
It's fast-paced.
It is fast-paced. And so it goes by really fast. I still can't believe how many years we've been open. And people ask us about, you know, how did you end up with the Reggae Hut? And how did you end up with the Alley Cat Bar and Lounge? And it usually isn't something that we thought about it. You know, you have ideas all the time. Or my husband, he has ideas all the time. I just pretty much pay the bills and make sure payroll and taxes and everything is caught up and take care of the kids' business. And he chimes in when I'm not available to do that. But the way that we acquired the Alley Cat or opened the Alley Cat Bar and Lounge was because the people that were there ended up leaving. And so it was like, hey, we have this space. And I have a relatives that tease me all the time. They was like, you have this kind of corner block on
You
lock.
do. You have a whole block.
I was like, yes, yeah, you are right, but it
Y'all
wasn't
have the whole
intentionally.
block.
You know, which I think it is great for entrepreneurs to do that. They need to think forward and, you know, have ideas like that. I'm not that person. My husband is that person. He thinks forward all the time. He brings ideas to me all the time, you know, and kind of run them by me. I think I'm more of the stable one in the family, you know, that think more realistic. You know, and I was like, yeah, you know, I'd be like, no, that's doing a lot.
At least
And
you
so
can
it varies.
see, you know, what road to go down, what road not to, because people obviously do come to you a lot with investment ideas. And if you don't know, you know, when you should say yes and when you should say no, it could ultimately be, you know, the end of your business.
It could be. And I tell people, I just spoke to someone this weekend that was thinking about opening up a restaurant. And I was like, oh, you don't want to talk to me. I'm not the person. I wasn't the person with the dream. I wasn't the person that put the business plan together. I know how to do a business plan. I had to do them for the 10,000 Small Business Goldman Sachs thing. I wasn't the person with the vision and the experience. I was the person that found out on the back end how much things cost. You know, so
You
I'll
had the
change your
fun
mind.
job.
Yeah, you know, it's a permit for this and permit for that and taxes for this and taxes for that. And I would change your mind. So I said, I can talk to you about the real deal and what happens, but he's the one to talk to about, you know, the vision and the idea and what to do about it. So,
Well, you have certainly created an empire for yourself. Let's talk a little bit about culture again. Now, that's in the heart of the Convention Center District.
Correct.
But you guys are really active there. I know we're going to be participating in a Success in Business networking mixer.
Yes.
But what other kind of
Excited.
events do you guys have going on there?
So every Friday and Saturday, we have the live music that we bring in, and it varies. It pretty much depends on what's going on in the city, because we do watch parties for the Astros are coming back, the season starts. And it's weird because the championship, when they won the championship, we had just opened. And we have like a row of barstool chairs that are all orange.
I noticed
and
that.
So it's like right on time. We was like, yes, this goes right along with the Astros, because it's like a block away from the stadium. And so, of course, we do the watch parties for them. We do the watch parties for the Rockets. They're doing well, and hopefully they'll hold on to it. And any local, we've been doing University of Houston, TSU, as well, watch parties. And different people have different events. Since we're located right in the building of the Houston Partnership Building, they have a lot of different events in there as well. And so we participate in some of those things. And we want to also let people know that when they park in that building, we do a 2-hour free parking validation.
That's nice.
Because we know how hard it is in that area of what's going on. So it really varies of what's going on with the city.
And tell us a little bit about the type of cuisine that's served at Culture.
So we call it Caribbean Southern cuisine, and it's almost like a twist on those popular food items. So if you are used to eating like spinach dip, we do it with collard greens instead of spinach. So it's called collard and callus, which comes like with this pastry puff. The chef there, I have to mention the chef name. Her name is Chef Dawn Burrell. She's awesome. And so she's come up with a couple of these great like meatloaf and potatoes. She does a meatloaf meatball, and it comes with a potato cream sauce with like these potato chips on top. And someone asked me before, is it a family-friendly environment, which I tell them it is. But usually the children may order some of those small plates and just eat off of there, the riblets. She makes this awesome snapper that's a whole fish with the head on. It's like this huge, and you just eat off of it.
Wow.
I think 2 people can share that. Of course, they have the mac and cheese and the shrimp and grits. They do an oxtail ragu that is awesome good. So it's kind of a little different and a twist on what people are usually used to eating with a Caribbean flair.
And do you need reservations, or can you just show up to
Preferably, they do lunch and dinner. Preferably reservations on open table, but you can. You can show up and dine as well.
And the live music is on Friday nights and Saturday
Fridays
nights?
and Saturdays.
And what about at the Alley Cat? What nights can we go enjoy some live music down there?
So the Alley Cat, they do live music there on Fridays and Saturday nights as well, but it's a different type of live music. So at Culture, we focus on Houston-based artists. So it's jazz, Houston artists. Some are singers, some are all instrumental, some are a combination of both. That Houston has a wide range of artists here, whether it's art, painting art, sculptures art, or, music. And so we have a producer that actually finds the artist for us, and we switch out, and he takes care of that. He's also in the music industry, and he takes care of that for us. But at the Alley Cat, it's more of a person singing with a live band, really good vibe music, kind of sip on some wine type music, also on Fridays and Saturday evenings, and then the DJs kick in after that. And during the week they have DJs. I tease them all the time because on Thursdays there's a group of DJs called the Waxaholics, and they're awesome and well known around the city. But me personally, I think it's a younger vibe, so it kind of varies. We have nights for younger people, and then we have nights for people that's upper in age, like myself. And so I was like, oh yes, you go on Thursdays. I don't go on Thursdays, you can go on Thursdays. And so, so it varies. And then they have Taco Tuesdays, and Mondays they have steak nights. And so they have different theme days as well.
Well, it's great to have you on, Mel. Again, tell us
appreciate
your Twitter feed or your Facebook page so we can find you.
So it's, I know the Breakfast Club is Catfish and Grits, and then Alley Cat is Alley Cat, Reggae Hut is Reggae Hut, and then Culture. You can just Google the name, and they'll all just kind of show up as well.
Okay, and that's Culture with a K.
Culture with the K, yes.
Well,
you didn't
thank you
ask
for
about the
coming
Ks.
on.
Yes, people ask us about the Ks all the time. And so it's Culture with the K, and the Breakfast Club with the K.
With a K. Well,
Yes,
good to
ma'am.
have you
Thank
on,
you.
Mel.
I appreciate it.
For more information about HCC's Small Business Program, please visit our website or follow us on Twitter at SBDP. For It's Your Business, I'm your host, Veronica Douglas.